He then took a good look at the cage and jumped down. He landed between the knives arrayed all around the tree tires. He was unscratched. A loud cheer arose from the audience. The cage was slowly raised to allow the young man to come out. He then walked towards the king and the princess. But by this, the king and the princess became pale at his achievement. Kurupsena immediately realized their panic and said, Once upon a time, Kanchan Nagar was ruled by King Chandradeep. He had a daughter named Indumati. Being an only child, the princess was brought up like a boy and given training in the use of arms and warfare. It was certain that whoever would wed her would also become the ruler of Kanchannagar, who was besides everything else extremely beautiful. The king often brought up her marriage, but Indumati was always determined to dodge the topic. But one fine day, out of the blue, Indumati entertained her father's idea of marriage, saying, "Yes, father, but..." And the king was on the edge of his seat, waiting for her to complete the sentence. "But whoever marries me must be strong and brave, and he must succeed in the tests that I give." Indumati then listed out the number of tests that she was planning for her suitors. The king was horrified. "Indumati, please don't insist on any such test. They're all hazardous. No one will come forward to undergo the tests for the fear of their life. Just forget about them." Indumati said, "Don't worry, father. All those who claim to love me more than their life will certainly take these tests. You just wait and watch." The royal announcement about the princess' wedding merely stated that the suitors would have to take certain tests. The announcement was made in all the neighboring kingdoms, including Jayanagar, where a young man named Kurupsena resided and heard of it. Kurupsena had a birth disability. He was born with both hands stunted. His mother died right after his birth, and his father took to a second wife. The boy was named Kurupsena, meaning the ugly looking. His stepmother was crude, and she ill-treated him for the tiniest of the things. He barely ever got a full meal since the day she stepped foot in the house. She knew that the boy, due to his disability, would not be much use to her. Kurupsena did not utter a word in protest or by way of complaint, but he lamented within himself, "Mother is always scolding and harassing me for everything. Won't there be an end to all this? She feels that I'm no good and I better die. I must take this as a challenge and prove to them that I can do a lot." This was the same time when Kurupsena heard of the challenge that the princess had presented. He decided to go to Kanchannagar. A lot of suitors had assembled there at Kanchannagar for the tests. There were some normal subjects like him too, wishing to try their luck if the princess were to fail. They were all guessing about the kind of tests the princess would have put them through. Some of them thought it could be wrestling, others thought it could be archery, and so on. The time came to announce the details of the tests. Many suitors rose from their seats and went and took a good look at the high wall as well as the cage of knives. One by one, they went back to their seats. The wall looked too high for them, and the cage was too deep down below. And there were barely any space between the knives. It was out of question for anyone to jump in between the knives without hurting themselves, and hence none dared to make an attempt. As they went back to their seats, some of them called out at the absurdity and deathly test. They even complained, saying, "It could have been a sword fight or wrestling or archery or any other of that kind, but not this. It is almost a death trap from where one can't escape with one's life. Why should anyone sacrifice his life for the hand of a mad princess in the world?" The atmosphere grew silent. It looked as though no suitor was willing to take the test. The king was in a dilemma. He regretted that his daughter did not take his advice on the tests. Kurupsana was watching all this from his seat, and suddenly a thought struck to him. After all, people back at home, like his mother, were only wishing for his death. If by the stroke of luck he lands without hurting himself, then he stood to win the hand of none else than a princess. So he decided to try his luck, and even if he were to die, he didn't have anybody to grieve over his death. And so he left his seat and walked up to King Chandradeep. "Your Majesty, can I have your permission to take the test?" The king was shocked, wondered who this ugly looking handicapped man was. He kept thinking, suppose this man were to succeed in the test, his daughter would have to marry him according to the rules of the game. And if that happened, she would have to spend the rest of her life in the company of a handicapped husband. Princess Indumati too was in a similar dilemma. She was expecting to be married off to a prince, brave, daring and handsome. But looking at Kurupsana, she wondered, would it be her fate to become his wife? She regretted instantly that she ever thought of such weird tests for her suitors. Suddenly a doubt aroused in her mind. Would this young man be able to climb that high wall? How would he even avoid a scratch while jumping into the cave when he had no hands to guide him through the sharp knives? She almost concluded that he would only meet with his end if he were to be foolish enough to attempt jumping down the wall. King Chandradeep waited for a moment to know his daughter's reaction and then gave permission to Kurupsana. Kurupsana went up to the wall and asked the soldiers to take him to the top of the wall. He then took a good look at the cage and jumped down. He landed between the knives arrayed all around the tree tires. He was unscratched. A loud cheer arose from the audience. The cage was slowly raised to allow the young man to come out. He then walked towards the king and the princess. But by this, the king and the princess became pale at his achievement. Kurupsana immediately realized their panic and said, "O king, please don't worry. I didn't wish to marry the princess. I had only wanted to take a challenge, and I know I have succeeded. That itself is a big reward of my life, and I can now face life." He bowed low before the king and retreated. With this, the vampire ended his narration and returned to the king Vikramaditya. "O king, wasn't Kurupsana a fool to reject marrying the princess? If he didn't intend on marrying the princess, why did he take up the challenge to begin with? However, he went ahead with it and succeeded at the task and hence qualified to marry the princess. But yet he didn't marry her. Why would he do that? What was the reward he was referring to when he said he didn't want to aspire for anything more? Now, If you know the answer and still decide not to tell me, beware, O king, your head will be blown into pieces. King Vikram responded saying, As you said, Kurupsana was a disabled young man. However, he was fully aware of his disability and that it bothered his stepmother. He really wanted her to think otherwise and believe that he was indeed useful. He wanted to prove to her that he excelled in a situation where the highly able suitors didn't even care to attempt the task presented, and that the change in her opinion of him was the biggest reward he could aspire for. He didn't take the test expecting to marry the princess and then rule over the kingdom. If that were to happen, he wouldn't even be able to hold a sword. And that seemed improper to him, and hence he gave up his claim to her hand. It was not an act of foolishness. On the contrary, it was a wise and well thought practical decision. He believed it was a wishful and stupid, in fact, to get married to the princess who deserved a better suitor that could rule the kingdom properly. The Betal knew that the king would definitely speak out, and so he flew back to the ancient tree, carrying the corpse along with him, leaving Vikramaditya running behind him with his sword.